Hey everybody, welcome back to WTF Homestead. I'm Jenny. Hope you guys are all having an awesome day today. Today I'm going to be putting up some beef. A couple of months ago, we had these guys, I'm sure everybody has seen them, that drive around in the little truck with the freezer on the back selling meat. And we've bought from them before. We've had good, we've had bad. My husband actually years ago did that. He sold meat, and it is so much work. It's hard work. And so anytime we see guys like that, we kind of feel sorry for them, and we try to help them out. But we also know the game. And so, my husband, boy, he just dogged them on, what is this? What is this? He wanted to know what was in it and everything. Everything sounded great. So we bought a pack, and we bought a fairly large pack because we wanted to stock our freezer. So we bought, let's see, what did we buy? We bought, it was probably half and half, chicken and beef. The chicken is really good. We haven't had anything with it yet that has been bad. It's all been really good. So we're really happy with that. The beef, however, is just incredibly tough. We've tried to cook it several times, and it is just, the flavor's not bad. It's got a decent flavor, but it's just so tough. We've tried it on the grill. I've cooked it in the kitchen, but I'm not the world's best steak cooker, griller, whatever you want to say. I'm not real good at it. But my husband usually is, and he's tried them too. I even went and bought meat tenderizer, and I never buy meat tenderizer, and I bought it specifically for these steaks. And yeah, it's like eating boot leather. They're just so tough. So I decided I'm going to try to can them, and we're going to see if pressuring them will make them any better. And one more thing is, I just set all these out. So they come in these boxes like this. They come in boxes. And I set these out last night and then put them in the fridge, and they're thawed. But some of them have kind of that gray kind of tint to them. I don't know if you can really see it. They're not, they're not bad. Nothing smells well. I haven't opened these yet, but I haven't had any that smell, but they've definitely had, when you're in the grocery store and you can just tell meat that's been out there for a little bit longer. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, that these were old, and I don't know, but anyway, like I said, I'm hoping that pressuring them will change the texture into something that we can actually use. So I'm going to can these up in some pint-sized jars. That's probably about the right size for us. I figure it looks like most people online are saying that you can get right at about a pound on there. So I'm not going to just stuff mine, because a little less than a pound is probably just, it's probably just right for my husband and I for a meal. And what I want these for is, I don't know. I'm thinking we might be able to make like a barbecue sandwich out of some. Could put it in soups and stews and things like that, chilies. So I think there's lots of things that we can do with them once they're done. But these were supposed to be really nice steaks, and they're just not. I did save out a couple. We got a few ribeyes and I think a New York strip. I think we've got a few of those in there that we have not tried cooking yet. They're a little thicker cut. So I'm hoping, I left those alone. I want to try a couple of those on the grill and stuff before I try to do this. So these are what I've read online are fairly simple. I've never canned any meat before. So this is all new to me. This is truly, like I said in my intro video, I'm learning as I go, so you guys are learning right along with me. But this looks like a fairly easy thing. These are raw packed, so everything's going to be cold in the beginning, and then it will cook in the pressure cooker. And since these are pressure canning, and these will pressure can for 75 minutes, there's no need to sterilize the jars. I just have to make sure they're washed and cleaned, and then they're good to go. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to move you down here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to cut these packages open. I got my meat here. I've got it all unpackaged, and I've got my jars. All I've done is just, like I said, just wash them. That's it. I'm just going to cut these kind of into some decent sized strips. Nothing huge, but nothing, you know, I don't want them really small either. You can chunk it. You know, it's really just your preference, however you want it. I've got a few different cuts of meat here, so they're all going to be some kind of weird shapes, but we're gonna make it work. So that is what was that, two and a half little steaks. That may be, for us, that may be just about right. And I'm just poking it down in there. Nothing. These you want to leave a 1-inch head space. That's about it right there. That's not bad. That may be just right. So I'm just going to keep doing that and fill all these up. Okay, so all my jars are filled here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 10 jars. And that was about, I would say probably maybe right at 5 pounds of beef. Yeah, right around 5 pounds of beef. Anyway, so at this point, you've got a few choices. You could leave them just like this and not do anything else. Put the lids on them and throw them in the pressure canner. And a lot of people do them like that. You can add a teaspoon of salt or something to each one if you wanted to salt them. That is totally your preference. You can do whatever you want. You could add whatever spices if you wanted, you know, Mexican spices, if you wanted Italian spices, whatever you wanted in here. Now would be the time that you could do that. I'm gonna do. I don't want them to just be plain. I started to just do salt, and I thought, no, I wanted to do just a little bit more. So I'm gonna add about a teaspoon to each one of the Better Than Bouillon beef. I want it to have a really good cooked flavor, because I'm probably going to use most of this almost like a roast type thing or something. I have a fly that is just driving me nuts right here. He wants to come play, and I don't want to play. Anyway, so I'm just going to grab a spoon, and I'm just going to add a little bit to the top of each one of these. I'm not really measuring. I did wash my hands, by the way, so I'm not putting weird stuff in here. This will make its own juice, so there's no need to add water or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that some of them have a little more fat than others. That is up to you also. Now there were a couple pieces that had big hunks of fat on them, so I did cut those off. But the rest of it, I left those now, and there were a couple that were pretty marbled, so I left those also, but I just kind of scattered them through the jars. But a little bit of fat's not bad. You just don't want jars and jars of fat. So that's it. I'm gonna go wash my hands right quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I washed my hands and I grabbed my lids. They were sitting over there on the stove. So next step, of course, is the ever important cleaning the lids of your, or the rims of your jars. I've got my little vinegar here and just a clean paper towel. And since, you know, this had a lot of fat and stuff, and I didn't use a funnel or anything, so you just want to make sure that they're all really good and clean. And you can also at this time just kind of double check, make sure there's no nicks or anything on the rims of your jars, anything that's going to prevent them from sealing. Now would be the time to do it. Okay, those are all clean. We're just going to throw our lids on now. And the rings. And again, with these, just finger tight. Okay, we've got all these done. I'm gonna put these over in the pressure canner. I'm gonna turn y'all that way. I've got my pressure canner on the stove. It is off. I've just set it there. It's got its water in it. So the meat was cold, the jars are cold, so your pressure canner has to be cold. Remember, do not mix. They're either all cold, or they're all warm, or they're all hot. Don't mix anything so you don't bust your jars. You don't want to shock your glass and break them. I'm gonna go put these in the pressure canner. Now I've got all of my jars in here. Actually, I don't. I'm missing one jar. I can only get 9 of them to fit in my canner. I'm going to do some other canning here in just a few minutes, so I think they're the same times. If not, I'll just cook that. I'll do something with it. I just stuck it in the refrigerator. I completely forgot that this only holds 9 jars at a time. So, and just so you know, there is a minimum, and I want to say that this is 3 quarts is a minimum. It might just be 2 for this canner. So your pressure canners also have a minimum to put in there. However, if you ever find yourself like that where you have 1 jar and you just want to put it up, you can pressure can, put that 1 jar in there, but you need to put more jars in there and just fill them with water. You don't even have to put a lid on them, but you need the stuff in there. You need more in there to create the correct pressures. So just as an FYI, but I didn't want to do one that was just 1 jar. So I think I'm going to be able to, I just need to check the times to make sure that they're going to pressure at the same time as this one. So anyway, I've got this all set up. It's got my water in it. Again, just check your pressure cooker for how much water. They're all different. Mine requires 3 quarts. My 3 quarts of water are already in there. I've got the plate in the bottom of it, and I've got my 9 jars. I also checked my lid. You just want to make sure that you can see through your hole here. Make sure you can see daylight through it. Make sure that I don't really know what this is called, but your little vent here, make sure that it's moving and everything's good. I have taken my my rubber gasket and I oiled it really good this time, so everything should be good to go. I'm just going to put the lid on this. I have my heat set to high, so once this starts steaming, I'll put this on and I should start getting a pretty steady amount of steam out of this, and when that happens, I'll come back and walk you through the next step. So I'm not sure if you guys can see this. I was trying to situate the camera just right so that you could see it, but the steam is coming out really steady. That's what you want. So I'm going to turn my timer on. I want it to steam like this for 10 minutes. You want it to steam for 10 minutes because you want it to, you're getting it to force all of that air out. You want that air out of there and for it to build up the steam. And then we'll put the weight on it and let the pressure start building. We'll be back here in 10 minutes. Okay, this has vented for 10 minutes. I'm going to put my weight on here. For my area, for my altitude, it is 10 pounds of pressure. You just need to check to see what yours is. All I'm going to do is set that on top there. That's it. It's going to start to wiggle here in a minute, and if you'll see, this has already popped up. I don't know if you can see that. It's already popped up, so it's going to start building pressure. Once this starts to kind of jiggle just a little bit, I'm going to kind of regulate my temperature. You just got to figure out what is the best for your stove, your pressure canner, everything. But it should just kind of have just a slight rock to it. You don't want it to go crazy, and you don't want it to not move. It needs to move, but just a little bit. And so just kind of regulate your temperature on there for that. So once it starts rocking, once we start getting that regular rock on there, I'm going to set my timer for 75 minutes. This is for pints. If I was doing quarts, it'd be 90 minutes. So just kind of find out what your altitude is to find out the pressure, and then it's going to be 75 minutes for pints, 90 minutes for quarts. So I will bring you guys back once this is done. Hey, I just wanted to bring y'all back and show you. I don't know if can you see how that's just kind of, it's just barely doing the hula dance. Just that little bit of a wiggle. That's what you want. You don't want anything, and it kind of makes you can hear that sound. Kind of reminds me of a rattlesnake. I don't know if that's a good one or not. But you just want that little bit of a jiggle to it. So I'm setting my timer right now for 75 minutes. So I'm just going to check. I'm going to come in periodically and check this. If it starts jiggling, right now I've got it set on high, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to turn it back down. I usually have to keep my stove is between the 7 and 8. Mine's got a number dial on it. So I'll probably have to turn mine down here in just a minute. But just keep checking it. If it stops wiggling quite so much, then you want to turn your fire. You want to try to find that where it keeps that steady thing. It's very important, and especially if it's jiggling too much, because that means it's releasing too much steam. As it jiggles, it lets a little bit of steam out. And you don't want it to lose too much steam, because then it's losing water inside. Not only is it losing pressure, it's losing water inside. So you don't want that, because you do not want that to run dry. If it runs dry, it has completely canceled out that entire process, which means you're going to have to turn it all down, let everything cool off, and then refill it back up and start it all over again from scratch. You don't want to do that. It overcooks your food. It does all kinds of stuff. So on top of the fact that you can eventually just ruin your canner. I don't know if you can hear that. It's starting to get a little bit loud, and it's wiggling a little bit faster. I'm going to turn my heat down. Turn it down just a little bit, and we'll give it a minute and see if it should kind of level out just a little bit. So anyway, I did that one time. I made a large pot of, I had all my leftover turkey from Thanksgiving, and so I made a large pot of cream of turkey soup. And I thought it was a great idea. We use cream of chicken, cream of mushroom soup all the time, so I did actually a cream of chicken and mushroom soup. And it ran dry. And so I had to reprocess all of that, and I think I had 9 or 10 jars, something, well 9 because it was a full, so I had the 9 jars, and I had to reprocess it, and I'm pretty sure it burned it. It's the only thing in my pantry that I've cooked or that I've put up that I will not give to anybody, and I haven't tried it yet. I'm too scared to try it. So because you can see on the bottom of the jar is kind of dark, so. I'm pretty sure that it's burnt. I've hung on to it. I'm going to open it eventually and taste it and see how it is. But just by the look of it, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to like it. But I'm hanging on to it that I could use it for dog food if I, you know, in a pinch, if I just needed to. So I'll leave it on there. I mean, unless I'm just in dire need of jars, I will leave it alone. And I know what it is. I know which ones had to be reprocessed. So anyway, so I just wanted to let you know the importance of really making sure that your temperature, or that your canner does not run dry, and it will do that by it just being too high. So I set it for 75 minutes. I will see you guys back here in a little over an hour. So this has finished. I turned the fire off on it, or the heat off on it. I don't know, it's probably been about 20 minutes or so. This has stopped jiggling. The little pressure, this little thing has gone down. So I'm going to take the weight off of it, set it to the side, and there's no steam or anything coming. I'm going to give it probably, I don't know, a couple of minutes. I just want to make sure that there's nothing going on in here before I can still kind of hear it just a little bit. And then we'll take this lid off. Okay, let's take this top off. Just gonna turn it, and just always make sure to open it away from you so that the steam goes away from you and you don't melt your face off. You don't want that. Okay. Look at that, it's just boiling away in there. Looks pretty good too. Not really sure what to expect, so they're already popping. Okay, that's all of them, but I want to show you guys something. Let me switch this camera. Okay, do you see how they are just bubbling away? That is an awesome sign. And they're already pinging. I mean, as soon as I took them out of the jar. But they're all, you can kind of see, kind of boiling and bubbling. But there are two. So this one right here and this one right here. Now this one back here, it was bubbling just a second ago, but it's not doing much. And this one right here was not doing any even when I got it out. So that's usually, we'll see, but that is usually a sign right as soon as you get them out that they're not going to seal. I've had some that is still sealed even after the fact, so I'm not going to totally give up here, but that is sometimes an indicator that something's wrong. It could be that I didn't clean my glass off. There could have been something on the lid that I didn't notice. There's no telling. So if that's the case, I wanted to try these anyway. I wanted to see what it did to the texture of the meat after canning them. So it could work out in the end that I'm going to try it. Also, I wanted to show you, you can kind of see on this one right here where the meat sticks up a little bit. Let me pick it up, maybe it'll be a little easier to see. Hang on, I can't do this left-handed, so I gotta turn it the other way. So if you can see how the meat is kind of out of the juice there a little bit, that is okay. So if you can and you have that, and then as it cools, anything, you'll see a thin layer of fat on the top. That is okay. And sometimes you'll get like a white film that will kind of speckle on top of any meat that's sticking up out of the liquid, and that is okay. All of that is completely normal. Everything is fine. Nothing should go wrong, but you know, just like anything else, you always want to check and make sure that you know, there's no smell. When you open it up, you make sure that you get that good whoosh sound, you know, from the jar popping open. So, you know, all those things, of course, you want to make sure of. But this jar here and that jar there, I'm gonna watch. So just like anything else, we're gonna leave these. We're not gonna touch them for at least 12 hours. Once they're cool and they have stopped boiling, I don't know if you heard that. This one actually right here just pinged and I saw it. So we may have actually gotten a seal on all of them. We'll see. Now this one, like I said, it was bubbling. You just can't see it on this side, but it's not bubbling anywhere like the others are. So we'll see. Hopefully they will all seal, but even if we have one or two that don't, I'm kind of irritated because I really want them to, but I would be happier if it's just one that doesn't seal, and we'll just make something out of it and give it a try. So anyway, that's our project for this time. It smells good. I say that on every video. Oh man, it smells so good, but it really does. It's kind of amazing. I mean, you know, you want it to smell good. You don't want to go to all this work and then go, oh, that doesn't smell so well, you know. So as long as it smells good to me, that's a good indicator that it's something I'm gonna like. These actually just smell like, it smells like beef stew cooking in here, so that's a good sign. That's kind of what I wanted, and that's really what I want to do with these. So as long as the flavor is there and the texture is there, and seriously, these steaks were so tough. Anything is better than the boot leather that they were. So worst case, I just made 10 pints of dog food, but the dogs will love it. They will absolutely love it, but I think this is going to be something that we can actually eat as opposed to the steaks that they were. So, and I'm really hoping, I've got to get out there and try the rest of the steaks. We want to try one of each of the different cuts and see how they turn out, because I'm going to be so disappointed if all of that beef is so tough that we can't use it. But you know, it is what it is. It's too late. We've already bought it, so we're gonna have to just figure out some way to do something with it. But anyway, this is it for today. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I hope this is something that you enjoyed. I appreciate you sticking with me and watching this whole video and following me on my journey to learning new things, and I hope y'all are learning new things also. So if you like this, just, you know, give me a like, subscribe to my channel, tell your friends, share, let everybody know, and I will see you in the next video. You guys have a good day. Bye-bye.